Well, this is my first video for YouTube, and I just thought I would share something that I've had a lot of. I've really enjoyed seeing videos in the past about this little Harbor Freight mill and lathe. This handle that you're looking at here, this is a 6-inch handle on this lathe, and if you notice, I mean, it's just so easy to use, it's unbelievable. Look at that. So that's the y-axis, and I've got one right here on the x-axis. And if you adjust these little mills, I changed out both screws, the x-axis and the y-axis. I put in, got rid of the metric screws and nuts, and I upgraded them. And then if you adjust these gibs on these little machines the way they should be adjusted, those little handles that came with the machine, they will flat wear you out, especially if you do a lot of milling. So anyway, I looked around, I looked on Amazon, and I found these handles, and I wanted to upgrade them. I wanted to put 6-inch handles on this lathe, on this mill. So what I did, you're not going to find the handle that's exactly a duplicate of the old 4-inch. Here's the old one right here. See the detail on the back of it? That's where your little graduated dial goes. And yes, you can see that I've got the graduated dial on mine. So I found these on eBay, on Amazon, and they were, I think, a little bit $15.87 or something like that a piece. So I ordered 2 of them. And if you decide you want to do this, I can just give you a real quick hint here of how you can do it and save yourself a lot of hassle. You take the old handle right here, and you measure the thickness of this old handle. And I'm talking about the whole area that goes over the shaft on the machine. So that thickness, whatever it turns out to be on yours, which it's probably going to be very close to what mine is, that's the thickness that you've got to make your handle plus the bushing. Now, you're just going to have to measure it up, because what you see on the end of the old handle here, you're going to have to put on that bushing that's in this new handle. So if I remember right, I think the total bushing was just a shade over 800 thousandths. Anyway, once I got the y-axis all working, which it worked out perfect, then I just took the bushing out, and I went over and I made one for the x-axis. And man, I'm telling you what, these things are a trick. Now, what I did, the key right here in the y-axis and the x-axis too, that little key right there, I went ahead on my bushing when I made it, and I just cut that key all the way through. See that? I hope I got that where you can see that. Yeah, there you go. I just cut that keyway all the way through there. And on the other side of the bushing, there is a big key that actually keys the bushing to the actual handle. And the handle was made with molded with a aluminum bushing in the fixture where they molded it. So I cut the big key into the brass bushing, so that the bushing would fit in the handle first. And then I set it up in the mill, and I went ahead and cut the little bushing, the smaller keyway. I think it's a 4mm keyway that is on the end of the shaft. And I just cut that all the way through the brass bushing here. Let's see, golly, I wish I had a decent camera to do this, but anyway, hopefully you can understand what I'm talking about. So, anyway, I'll tell you, it worked out real well. I've used it a lot. Be very careful when you're taking your little graduated dials off of the old handle here, because see that groove right there? Inside that groove is a little spring, a half a spring, that barely sticks up above the surface, and it adds some tension to your graduated dials so that they just don't spin out of control. But you got to put that groove in there, and then put your springs back in. And the springs are very tricky. You got to just be careful with them. In fact, I actually lost one, but luckily I had two other ones. So anyway, this thing worked out terrific. I would say that making the bushing complete, but I already had some brass here, but I'd say making the bushing complete took probably 30 minutes, something like that. And then I had to set it up in the mill and cut the keys in it. Also on my mill, I got rid of the gear drive up here on top, and I put in the belt drive right here, underneath here. And I'm going to tell you what, that works awesome right there. It really does. And it's much, much quieter. And here's your adjustment for it right here to tighten your belt up. And it's got a low and high range on your belt drive. I'm actually pretty close to doing a CNC conversion on this mill. And I'm going to be able to use it either CNC or else go back and use it by hand, either one. So that's coming up, and if I can work it out, I'll get a couple videos of it. I'm planning on stiffening up the back of this column right here. And anyway, I've got some ideas for that. So I hope this helps somebody here, because I know the videos that people put up there sure helped me out a lot. I wish that I could put handles on my compound right here on my lathe and my carriage, but just in looking at them, it's looking like that's going to be a pretty major deal to do. I'm not saying that I'm not going to do it, but I might figure out a decent way of doing it. So, and then I have this. I modified this. This is a little carriage stop, and man, I want to tell you what, this thing is a trick. I modified it to lock down on the ways here. I don't know how much of that you can see, but that sucker works fantastic. If you're getting into where you're doing a lot of shoulder work on pieces with multiple shoulders, this little dude is awesome. I don't know if resolution is going to be enough for you to see the little dial, but it's in thousandths. And anyway, this I'd recommend everybody have one of these. I'm a little bit surprised Harbor Freight don't even sell something like that for these lathes. Harbor Freight's not very good about selling tooling for these mills and lathes. But there's a lot of it out there, but you guys got to look around for it. Okay, well, I guess that's it. You guys, good luck to you. Hope if you do it, I hope it works out. Be safe.